Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to talk about conjunctions. This is part of English language and this is what you'll be needing for editing. So today we're going to focus on conjunctions. Okay, so we'll move on to the first part. So before we start, we like to listen to a story, and it's not just any story, but it's about the comma story. So let's take a look at the video. Okay, so now you have understand the comma story, and if you're not very sure, you can always watch the front segment again. So the comma story talks about the hardworking comma, and basically you're helping out the tiny conjunctions and the mighty subordinates. Well, later we'll take a look at them. But today, since the focus is conjunctions, we will touch on subordinates later, but at the moment we will focus on conjunctions. So let's take a look. So these are conjunctions versus the subordinates. So what is a conjunction? Just now you have seen in the video, if you remember, there's actually a phrase there. Let's start with the letter F and ends with the letter S. But before that, we'll look at the definition first, okay? So conjunction is a word that used to link words, phrases, and last but not least, clauses. Okay? Clauses sometimes can be considered as short sentences. Okay, let's take a look. Example of words are apples. Example of phrases is called a fat boy. And clauses is fat boy kiss. Not fat boy, it's called fanboy. Kiss fat chum chum. As you can see in the picture, that will be a clauses. A very tiny, very short sentence. Okay, let's look at fanboys. So fanboys are examples of conjunctions. That F stands for, you have and, you have nor, you have but, or, yet, and last but not least, so. So let's take a look. There are a total of 4 rules, and this is number 1. Conjunctions go in between items but not at the beginning or the end. If you take a look at the examples, so what will be incorrect is that but I don't like tea, I like coffee. Even if you say but I don't like tea, full stop, that will be incorrect. So you see, but cannot be used at the front of the sentence. But the correct way will be using I like coffee but I don't like tea. That will be correct. And you must have your favorite comma at the front of but. The second one, no comma should be placed before the conjunction when joining 2 words, phrases, or clauses. So that's the next one. So incorrect is you don't use for like cookies and milk, you don't use that. You use cookies and milk without the comma in between, because that will make the commas very, very tired. So next one, a comma is required before the conjunction when joining 3 or more words and phrases. That is where there's a lot of joining in between. That's where you need the comma. So in the mountains, at the beach, or by the lakeside, that will be incorrect. And correct way is in the mountains, comma, at the beach, comma, plus a conjunction, or by the lakeside. So 3 or more. Rule number 4. A comma is required before the conjunction when joining 2 independent clauses. Independent means they are not related. For example, Xiaxuan ate all the cream, so Alina ate the biscuits instead. Okay, so you need a comma for that. So the correct one will be with a comma in front of so. Okay, next. So you're the mighty subordinates. Or it's like a WWE champion. So let's take a look. There are examples of subordinates, although, because, before, however, unless, even though, which you have seen in the video. So they are supposed to join dependable clauses and independent clauses. Okay, they join these 2 together. And if you are not very sure, dependable clauses and independent clauses, you can take a look at the word dependent. Means you just depend on another sentence. Independent means they can stand alone by themselves with a full stop, and that's it. Independent clauses are simple sentences such as it is raining. These independent clauses. So dependable clauses means they depend on the independent clauses. Depend on simple sentence such as because it is snowing. So the entire phrase because it is snowing, you can't stand by itself. You can't have a sentence because there was a because in front of it. So if you think about it, it's like a master and slave relationship between the dependable clauses and the independent clauses. Well, you can think of it this way. Okay, there are also 4 rules for this, and let's take a look. So subordinates make one clause dependable, or you call subordinates, upon the other. So you remember master and a slave. So subordinate makes one clause a slave to the other one. So we have an umbrella plus because plus it is raining. Then what we get is that we have an umbrella because it is raining. So you see the original phrase, it is raining, is independent. But because of the word because, the entire phrase itself, it becomes dependent. The yellow, yes. Rule number 2, a subordinate may appear at a sentence beginning or between 2 clauses. Because it is raining, that's why we need a comma. Remember, leave on one side. So if we can't leave on one side, it needs the help of a comma. Because it is raining, we have an umbrella. Or you can say we have an umbrella because it is raining. If it's in between, subordinates are like WWE champion and they do not need any help. So, comma, back off. Rule number 3, when the dependable clause is placed first in a sentence, we use a comma in between the 2 clauses. Okay, so when the dependable clause. So because it is raining, remember the entire phrase, because it is raining, is dependable. It's like a slave. So you need a comma in between because it doesn't really have enough strength to leave the sentence by itself. Okay, so number 4, when the independent clause is in front of the dependent clause, means a simple sentence in front of the dependent clause, do not separate the 2 clauses with a comma. So this is a second instance where we have an umbrella because it's raining, we do not separate the sentence with a comma. That will be totally incorrect. And that's it for conjunctions, and I hope you can use the exercise that you have practiced to become better at conjunctions, which you can use for your editing. And that's it. Goodbye and have a nice day.